What's going on, y'all? This is the Bias Unbiased podcast. I'm your host. And this podcast, we try to be biased and a little bit unbiased at the same time. I know it's hard. For some people, it's impossible. But here we are. So today, I want to talk about the obvious trial of Puff Daddy that just got served this morning with the indictment of trafficking. I'm assuming grape. I'm assuming coercion, whatever the case may be. There's so many different charges coming up left and right. I can't keep up. But I will say this. There's a reason why I do not feel bad for Puff Daddy, and I'll tell you why. Puff Daddy used the same methods as Don King. If you don't know who Don King is, Don King was a boxing promoter from the late 80s, 90s, I guess. I was really young when he was prominent. He got people like Mike Tyson and other young talents to I guess he managed them or helped them promote the fight. But the reason why people didn't like him, or the reason why I don't like Don King, is because he'll come to these young men and say, you know what, we gotta look out for each other. It's the white man be after us. We gotta sit together. I would never do like that. We gotta look out for each other. We're black. And then he'll go around and rob the same people he just told to trust them. That's what Puff Daddy did to his artists. Puff Daddy is known for letting people sign predatory contracts that puts them in a bind in which they can't really make money over time. You might give them an advance like most record labels, but what he's doing right now is done something different from other record labels. Give a predatory advance in which you got to pay back. For those who don't know what an advance is, it's a loan, guys. Keep that in mind. No matter how big it is, trust me, they want the money back. Plus interest. So, but the point is he would use the same allure. Yeah, man, we black. We got to look out for each other. The white man be doing this. We got to look out. I don't like that to a fault. I do not like people who lie, who cheat, who scam. I don't like scammers altogether. So he's a scammer to me. Now, multiple life sentences. This is where I'm going to become unbiased. Now, the thing with Cassie, him doing the, I guess having her have sex with whatever freakiness they were into, because I don't think that he just did it with a gun to her head. I think she maybe enjoyed it at some point. But in this day and age, all you have to do is say that you were forced and people will automatically believe you. Now, am I saying she's a liar? No, I'm not. I do know what hive mind is. Do you know what hive mind is? Hive mind is everyone is cool with one person until one person decides to change their mind, and then the other people will just follow suit. They wouldn't ask no questions. They think the popular thing to do is to go against this one person, so they will do it. Let's go to Drake and Kendrick. Drake has been dominating for the last, 15, 20 years. And then all of a sudden one day, Kendrick releases a song, and a few people say, oh yeah, he's a culture, we should hate Drake. And like most hive-minded people do, they just went along with the ride. It's like, you know what, yeah, F Drake, we don't need him. Kendrick is way better. No logic is being presented. It's just people following the trend. When it comes to people saying, oh yeah, I was touched inappropriately, I was forced, I have a hard time believing every single one of these people were forced. If you're going to have sex with a celebrity, the average person will probably think about two things, which is clout, something they can brag about, and also the potential to get money from the person if they do engage in sex. That's what most people do. Now, can Puffy be eligible for doing such a crime? Yes and no. Puff Daddy was brought up in an era where hip hop was still brand new. The potential still has not been reached. I think the potential has been reached now. We have billionaires now. I would say this: there were no cameras back then. There was no Instagram. There was no Me Too movement. So I wouldn't put it past Puffy to take advantage of what he could take advantage of. I'm pretty sure anyone who had power, because back then a woman could say that you actually did grape her, and people, because you're such a celebrity, they want to believe them because it's such a favored person that there's no way in hell. Now, of course, rape was being taken seriously back then too, but it was not as easy to prove, right? Now we have the Me Too movement. Now you got people saying this person did X, Y, and Z to me, and now it's kind of became the opposite. People automatically believe them without proof. So it went from one extreme to the other. Now there are a lot of victims who did get taken advantage of, and I feel extremely sorry about that. I do want them to get justice, but also on the other coin, there are people who are being framed because all you need is just the word, no proof. As a matter of fact, there was a baseball player. There's a girl who attended one of those red balloon events, red balloon pop shows. What do you call them? I'm sorry, I don't watch those. Some black skinny girl wasn't even that attractive, but she got caught lying on this baseball player. But his kicker, she got caught, but the damage has been done already. He's already been let go. He already lost millions of dollars. He has suffered an immense amount of loss, despite the fact that he was innocent the entire time. Because in this age, like I said, all you need is the word. Women have so much power, they got to just say they did, and people will believe them. Again, there were actually victims that are real victims. Then there's people who took advantage of the system. Who remembers the brick lady? That was like a year and a half ago. The brick lady, this Somalian chick with a big butt, thankfully she uploaded other videos of her ways of life in which she tried to scam other people, being extremely belligerent, unruly. She's just a horrible person all around. But she definitely went on the line and said, like, these black men did not help me. I got hit with a brick because I didn't want to get some of my number. And then sent everyone in a frenzy. All the feminists rejoiced and said, yes, see what black men put us through. The police were involved. They came to find out that no one actually hit her with a brick. It was all made up. And the fact is, she tried to blame one guy. And this guy in an interview said, I want to do a video about this. This guy said that friends and family did not believe him, and they all cut him off. So I would love to be the fly in the room to hear these same people who cut him off without even asking him what happened. I want to hear the apologies. Like, I'm so sorry. I will not forgive them. I don't care if it's my mother. If you're going to assume that I'm this kind of evil person because someone just said it, I can only imagine the hurt this man went through. No one cares. No one cares about the victim of these false claims. So I'm gonna look at the video a little bit. I'm gonna get my commentary. I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant. Sorry, guys.
Breaking news. Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested and indicted on federal charges. The disgraced music icon has faced startling allegations for months of rape, sexual assault, physical abuse, gun trafficking, and drug trafficking. On Monday evening, he was indicted by a grand jury in New York. He was taken into custody in Manhattan, where he's been for the last week in anticipation of these charges. Now, the charges haven't been made public just yet. In fact, the indictment was sealed. But according to the New York Times, a person familiar with the prosecution says they believe Diddy faces charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Diddy's legal team said they were disappointed with the decision to prosecute, but mentioned their client has been cooperative with law enforcement. A statement from his legal team reads, quote, Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made.
So the reason why he's in New York, apparently, that he let them know he's coming to New York. So there was no like, I'm gonna go wherever I want, whenever I want to. And this is more like, hey, he probably was like, hey, this might be my last time of freedom. Let me go back to my hometown and enjoy the ambience because I'm about to go to jail. So that's what that was, apparently.
Entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but is not criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. All this comes about 6 months after 2 of Diddy's homes were raided by federal investigators back in March. Then we couldn't confirm Diddy was the target of the Homeland Security raids or what information the feds collected. Most of what we know came from the 5 civil suits with a series of shocking allegations ranging from the 90s until now. Multiple people.
Man, Puff Daddy, just like R. Kelly, Puff Daddy's allegations has been stemming from the 90s. This is nothing new. This is something that's been going for a long time. The only difference is now people want to hold people accountable. There's so many people in the world, so many figures of power who have gone away with murder for so long. And because of the public attitude toward these people, they didn't really get any get back. No karma, as they say. I don't believe in karma no more. I used to believe in karma all the time, but I realized there's some people who did complete evil things and they're still prospering. I think karma is subjective now. There's no like you do good and good things happen to you. You could do good and bad things will still happen to your ass. Trust me.
People allege Diddy raped them, drugged them, and recorded all of that. We can't confirm it just yet, but it was likely those civil lawsuits that led up to the federal investigation and later Diddy's arrest. This is breaking news.
All this happened because he didn't want to pay Cassie the money quick enough. Bro, you had the money. That's what you get for being cheap. That's what you get for being cheap.
That is constantly developing, so stay with Law and Crime for all the latest updates. For now, let's take a look back at the allegations leading up to Diddy's arrest.
Not saying it's right, but I'm saying, but I remember she first came out with it. He wants to do that shit ASAP before she even get the entire sentence out. You will put another $5 million on top of that. That's what happens.
For the past 3 decades, we've come to know Sean Combs as multiple different names. P. Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy,
Brother
Puff.
Love.
The 54-year-old is a rapper, entrepreneur, and label exec. Things changed for him on March 25th when Homeland Security raided 2 of his homes, one in California and the other in Florida. There's no word yet whether Diddy himself was the target of those raids, and he's not been charged criminally. That being said, some allegations of his criminal past became a major topic of conversation when news of the raids broke.
That's what was so stunning when Cassie Ventura filed her lawsuit earlier this year. It kind of broke the dam, and it was just the floodgates opened, and all of the.
You speak about Drake and Kendrick dropping the bomb. This was a bomb. If I show you this picture of Cassie, just know I got the tea on your ass.
These other allegations started to come to the surface.
That's Melba Pearson, a former prosecutor who's followed the Diddy case meticulously since it broke. Her interest actually dates back farther than just last month, when Diddy's Bad Boy for Life mantra was just a song. And we know about the allegations now that have happened in the past couple months via these civil suits. But if we go back, I know that you have kind of followed Diddy for a while and you're pretty knowledgeable about that era. From the 90s until now, prior to these civil lawsuits being filed, was there talk of wrongdoing on Diddy's behalf?
There really wasn't. You know, to compare him to R. Kelly, for instance, there were rumors swirling around R. Kelly from the
Free Kells. He learned his lesson. Give him like 5 more years. Let that boy out.
beginning. And that started off with.
You get his parents. His parents have actually agreed to. I mean, I didn't see the Survivor R. Kelly one, so I heard this one story. This chick, she actually didn't know the help daughter was there apparently, but the majority of those parents knew what was going on. They wanted what I said earlier. They wanted clout and money.
His marriage to a very underage Aaliyah, and that's when folks were like, okay, something doesn't seem right here. But like, kind of put it to the side, just kind of put a pin in it for a few decades until all the bombshell allegations and, well, ended up being proved in a court of law.
And what I tell you about Hive Mind, everyone was cool with it until one day someone's like, nah, you know what, I'm not cool with it. And everyone was like, you know what, I'm not cool with it now either. So that's what hive-minded people do. They just don't have any brain, so they go with the wind. One minute they love you, the other minute they hate you. Ask Drake.
Came forth. I feel like with Diddy, we didn't hear that much. We knew that he partied hard. We knew that he was always going to high-profile events and all of that. But I personally have never heard any rumors surrounding any wrongdoing or anything having to do with him. This is an artist who really came to prominence in the 90s. We remember all of the videos. He was very close with Biggie Smalls, who also tragically lost his life back in the late 1990s, early 2000s. And so he was somebody who had this whole orbit around him, and so many different artists like Maze and all these different folks that sprung out
I wonder what Mace got to say about this. I ain't check his stories yet, but we'll see.
from this record label and orbit that they were in. So he had a huge impact on what R&B and hip hop looked like in the 90s and the 2000s.
I'm not going through the whole video. I will say this. For the people who believe that having money means you can do whatever you want behind closed doors, this is America. We have cameras. We have a lot of things going on, for the good, for the bad. We still have people who are framing innocent people. That is one of my main fears. I've seen it before. Heard about it before. I see a lot of stories of someone getting freed from being falsely accused. It's one of my phobias. At the same time, now if I was Puff Daddy back in the day, would I have done things to take advantage of people? More than likely, I'm gonna say yes, because human beings, not just men, definitely not just women, without being checked, will do whatever they want, because especially when you have money, you become a demigod. You become better than the average person in the eyes of the government. Those days are coming to an end for now. Of course, you can always convert to cyber crimes, what people do now too. But regardless, accountability is needed. Regardless, doesn't matter. So I'm happy that he's in jail. I'm not sure what the life sentence is. That might be a little bit of a reach. This whole thing with the baby oil is a reach. That's come on, bro. And apparently, everyone who engaged in the freak off they were all coerced, all forced. It's like, oh man. Anyway, I'm out.